All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North Carolina and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Thank you so much for joining us today. So just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You are able to use the Q&A button on your screen to type questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are turned off today so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many sessions that are being offered, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded as well and will be made available within a week at that same website, CACRAO.org. I would now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Fantastic. Well, welcome everyone. I'm gonna pop my screen up here. We're gonna start right here from the beginning. My name is Mandy Hines and I am with Johnson & Wales University, and I've got some colleagues with me today. Oops, yep, gonna kind of scroll back here for some reason. I'm giving you the preview of what we're gonna talk about. Screen didn't want to go back, but now we're gonna hopefully get back to the beginning. All right, you're in the right session. Passionate about sports. We hope that you're here today because you love athletics, whether it's football, swimming, golf, tennis, gymnastics. You're passionate about some sort of a sport, and you're thinking about what kinds of options to pursue in college. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have each of my fellow presenters today tell you just a teeny bit snapshot, about a minute, minute and a half about our universities, and then we're going to launch into our content today. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Keith. Go ahead, Keith, get us started.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited for you guys to join us, whether you're in seat, in hybrid, virtual, wherever you're actually learning at this moment. We do thank you for taking the time out. My name is Keith Doucette. I'm one of the regional admissions counselors with St. Andrews University. We are a small private university located in Laurinburg, North Carolina. If you're not familiar with where Laurinburg is, we're tucked right there along the North Carolina-South Carolina border, about 2 hours east of Charlotte, about an hour and a half to 2 hours west of the beaches of Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We like to say that we're 2 hours from a lot of different things. But what Laurinburg provides is small town charm. You can see here the circles. Those are the 4 pillars of our university. I'll start off with tradition. We have a rich tradition that dates back to 1896, and those traditions are the foundations that our students get to build off of as they build their future. We do have a global focus. It's a global marketplace today, so thinking about the ability to interact with people who have very different viewpoints, different cultures, learn from them, grow from them, and get ready for that global world. That can be done on campus through our international student population and interactions, as well as with our study abroad opportunities. Obviously, experience, whether that's studying one of our 22 different majors and 22 different minors, to being involved in our athletic programs. We have 27 intercollegiate athletic teams, clubs and activities and organizations, or even riding a horse. We have 3 equestrian programs. But our big one is community. Community to us is extremely important. We are small, less than 1,000 total students. So we have close-knit. It's a very supportive community. It's a place to be known, and we really value our diversity. So we hopefully you'll learn a lot more today about how you can actually go on out there in today's world and find a great career.
All right, thank you so much. I am Taisha LRB. I am an admissions counselor for Johnson C. Smith University. I do talk for a living, but sometimes I do get a little bit stumbled. We are a small private university, an HBCU actually, in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are right in the heart of Uptown Charlotte. Biddle Hall is the tallest building. Well, it's actually at the highest elevation of Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's really great that at Smith, we have that piece of history, and we also have that living, breathing, vibrant building we have in Biddle Hall. One of the best things that I would say about Johnson C. Smith is that Johnson C. Smith is one of the part of the hearts of Charlotte. I am a Charlotte native. I know I'm a bit of a unicorn in the Charlotte area. I am a Charlotte native, and Johnson C. Smith has always been my first love. So I'm really excited. We have about 1,500 students, 1,500 undergrads. We do have 23 majors. We do have one graduate program, and that is in social work. And that program is dynamic. It is nationally accredited, but today we are here to talk about sports management and esports, and we are one of the first HBCU teams to have that distinction. We've had lots of money thrown our way and lots of competitions we've been invited to, and we're excited to be among the first. Really excited. So excited to be here today.
All right. Thank you, Taisha. We're going to learn more about esports shortly as we talk through some of the major options. Just a little snapshot about Johnson & Wales University. We also are located in Charlotte, North Carolina, in that uptown area. You may have heard of Trade and Tryon. We're located on Trade Street, approximately 8 blocks away from the Carolina Panthers at Panther Stadium, Bank of America Stadium. We have 2 campuses here in the United States. Our main campus, which started back in 1914, is located in Providence, Rhode Island. So when you apply to Johnson & Wales, you apply to be a student at Johnson & Wales, whether you choose to attend the Providence campus or you attend the Charlotte campus. In fact, some of our students spend some of their undergraduate time at Charlotte, and then they transfer to Providence and vice versa. As I mentioned, we were started back in 1914 as a university that really focused on experiential education. So many of our degrees, actually most of them, require an internship, and all of them are encouraged to pursue internships to get that work-based learning. Our career outcome rate is 97.7%, which means the vast majority of our graduates are working in their field. So we're going to have a screen at the end of our presentation today if you'd like to hear more about each of these universities when we actually do a session 2 weeks from now, where you can tune in to hear a whole lot more about all of these schools. But in the meantime, let's get to the content that we actually are here to learn about today, and that is business majors and options for you to consider pursuing if you want to connect your passion for sports and your passion for a career. We know that many students, while you're in high school, you think about pursuing professional athletics in whatever your discipline is, but only a small percentage of people actually play the sport as their career. So today's session is so vital because we're going to expose you to a variety of career pathways where you can actually take your love for the sport and pursue some sort of a lifelong career. So let's make sure we're all on the same page. What is a major? A major, by its very definition, is a specific subject that you specialize in while earning a college degree. Majors demonstrate that you've had a lot of high-level work in one area. You may have heard that term kind of tossed around and you just weren't quite sure what it meant. So the goal of our session today is actually to discover a variety of options, a variety of majors for those of you that are sports enthusiasts that you could pursue as you combine your passion for sports and various career opportunities. So each one of us is going to take a few minutes and talk about different majors that you might consider. When you do go to college, some universities have you declare that major right when you start. Some universities have you wait until about halfway through your college experience. But it helps if you go into your college experience, whether you select it or not, knowing exactly what you want to do and kind of the general direction that you want to go so that your academic advisors can make sure that you get the courses you need to graduate and, of course, offer you internship opportunities along the way. I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues at St. Andrews to do our first chunk of options.
Great, thank you so much. I'm going to get my screen up here. Hopefully this works well without any problems. Excellent. Great. Well, my guess is that many of you guys are here today because of the words business or sports in the title of our panel session. So just to get some information on you guys, show of hands, how many of you guys are athletes? Just kidding, just kidding. I can't see you guys, so I can't see your hand, but I would be interested to know how many of you guys just raised it. Thinking about what you might want to do as a career, some of you guys may be considering, well, I've always loved sports. And you think about why you may have loved sports. You grew up playing sports. I know that I did. Some of the reasons that I liked it was because it was physical. It was a social outlet. It gave me a chance to be active, to be competitive, build bonds, and make friends. And that's how most of us know sports. But we also know sports from what we see on the television and what we see when we go to venues and arenas and courts. And that sport is not just sport. That is a business. And in many cases, it is a big business. Think about how many times you've heard some of your favorite professional athletes comment publicly when it comes time to negotiate their new contract, or maybe it's when they're switching teams, they always say it's a business, it's a business. And that's right, it is a business. So you think about any business, whether that is running a dry cleaners, or maybe it's retail. The world of sports is no different. It takes many different focus areas to run a successful business. So you can see here, management, marketing, production, human resources, finances. We'll touch base on a lot of these different function areas and the careers involved throughout this panel. But I'm going to focus on a couple in particular, and that is human resource and finance. Now, if you actually go on and major in business administration, these are some focus areas that you could specialize in. At some universities and colleges, you may even be able to focus on a specific major in one of these two key areas. But human resources, people. Finance, the money. Those are two key areas of any successful business. I love this quote right here, and you can see it. You don't build the business, you build people, and then the people build the business. And you think about the core of any successful business is the people that make it go. And who takes care of those people? Those are your human resource professionals. You know, think about in pro sports. Who recruits and trains the players on their roster? It's the coach, right? But does the coach help them sign up for their health insurance benefits? Does the coach help them navigate their retirement plan contributions through their workplace? What about all the other professionals that may play a role in making that sports franchise go? The athletic trainers, the accountants, the administrative assistants, the travel planners. Who actually hires those people? Who actually trains them, gets them enrolled? These are all your human resource professionals. Their job is to take care of people. Some companies have even renamed this position. Instead of human resources director, they're the director of people, because it's such an important part of the business. Now, you may think, well, is human resources a possibility for me? What are some of the actual traits that might make me a good human resource professional? Think about, are you people oriented? Do you love hanging around and being around people? Do you like helping people? Are you organized? Are you somebody that can stay well organized and can use that organization again to help other people? Are you a good listener? That's important in the world of human resources. You have to be able to listen to the people in your company and what they need. What are they going to need maybe as training, or what sort of resources they need so that they're happy? Because a happy employee is going to make a happy business. Tech savvy, you know, think about the days that we're living in right now. We have to be tech savvy. In the world of human resources, it's been that way for a while. There's lots of interaction with technology to choose different benefits, to be able to have meetings, especially in a world that is global, where maybe some of the employees live in very different places, and you have to still be able to interact with them. Some of the courses that somebody may take if they're focusing on human resources: psychology. Again, that's understanding what makes people go. Business technology, I just talked about that tech savviness, thinking about communications, organizational behavior. These are some of the different things that you could focus on. Now let's think about finance. You think about football season has begun. Whether you're a fan of college, whether you're a fan of professional football, think about all of us right now. We're thinking about our favorite teams, and what do we care about? We care about the W. We care about our teams winning the game. But think about the owners or the university presidents. Do they care about that W? Absolutely. And one of the reasons they care about that W is because that W equals dollar signs. The win equals money. Think about in any sports franchise, who keeps track of all that money? Think about some of the biggest franchises in the world: Manchester United Soccer, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Yankees. These are billion-dollar companies. Who keeps track of all that? Who keeps it organized? We're talking about payroll and taxes, salary caps, projections, purchasing, accounting, everything that goes in to that. Now, are you a good fit for finance? Think about, in the world of finance, it may not even be in the world of sports. You could be working in financial advising. You could be thinking about maybe going on to Wall Street. But it takes a certain type of person to work in finance, analytical. You have to enjoy math. You have to be detail oriented. You have to be a problem solver. Now, think about those things. Now, if those things are ringing true with you, well, think about some of the courses that could make you a strong professional in the world of finance. Accounting, and more accounting. Those are going to be a lot of the courses. Economics, investment and portfolio analysis, quantitative methods for business. Those are going to be some of the skills that are going to make a strong finance professional. Let's jump out of the world of business for a second and think about, well, what are some of the places of potential employment? You know, obviously you can think about professional teams, but that's not going to be the right fit for everybody, and not everybody may live around a professional team. Think about arenas and stadiums in the community. What about fitness centers and gyms? If some of you guys like to ride a horse, that's one of our majors at St. Andrews University. We actually have a major in equine business management. So somebody who loves horses, golf and tennis clubs. You can think about all the different places to take these areas and actually translate them into a career in your own community. What if you are somebody that is not necessarily leaning towards the business side? What are some of the types of career paths and majors that may actually allow you to keep moving if you love playing sports? You know, if you're somebody who loves fitness and staying in shape, think about athletic training, strength and conditioning coaches, personal fitness, physical therapy, even into nutrition. You know, think about all sports teams need some of these different professionals. Personal fitness right now, think about in today's world, we're all kind of been quarantining. That means maybe a lack of exercise. You know, according to Statista, the global fitness and health club industry generates more than $80 billion in revenue per year. That's a lot of money. The US alone makes up a large portion of that market share. And with COVID going on, anybody heard of the COVID-15? You know, that's kind of a take on the old freshman 15 from college. But many people have, you know, had some problems with staying active during the pandemic. And that's where physical activity and fitness professionals can come in. Strength and conditioning often takes center stage when talking about sports franchises and teams, but all of that work can be undermined easily with poor nutrition. So you think about some of the importance. Now, if you were thinking about a career and some of these physical aspects of the sports world, again, what are some of the traits? Are you a people person? Do you have strong interpersonal skills? Are you a motivator? Do you enjoy helping people? And again, a big one there, do you like to be fit and health conscious? Some of the classes, anatomy and physiology is going to be a big one. Kinesiology, nutrition classes, strength and conditioning. These are all classes that can make you a strong professional in some of those different fields. Again, ranging from personal trainers to physical therapists, even occupational therapists and nutritionists. Where are some of the possible employment spaces? Right there in your community. Think about all the fitness centers and gyms that may surround you. What about your K through 12 schools? What about even starting your own business? Hospitals, clinics, parks and recreation. These are all different places that can translate to various career paths with these skills. So at this point, I'm going to actually turn it over to my colleague, and we'll learn about some more options in the world of sports and possible business.
All right. Thank you so much. Keith, that was such a world of knowledge. I'll tell you guys that are that are attending, when Keith actually presented this during our like practice run, Mandy and I both were like blown away. Thank you, Keith, for the background and everything that you did. So I would say the next part of sports management, esports, all of that are some of the things you may not think are sports related, Mandy, do you have my slides? If you don't, I can do it. Hold on.
I'm sorry about that, Taisha. I thought we were each going to do our own little chunk slides
It's
on
no
our own
problem.
there.
I got them. It's no problem.
Okay.
1 second. Wait, go back. All right. Did I have this together before we started? Yes, but of course. All right, here we go. All right, 1 second. I don't know, it's giving me a little bit of trouble, but I'm okay. There we go. All right, y'all can see everything now? Let me know.
Yep, we can see your slide.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So I am Taisha Ellerby again. I am an admissions counselor at Johnson C. Smith University. We are in Charlotte, as we said before, and we are an HBCU. So if you've never heard that term before, historically Black college and university, we actually started Black college football. We will say that, and we will take it to the grave. We actually had our first football game with Livingstone College, and they are in Salisbury, North Carolina. They're in HBCU as well. So we always tout that, and we won. I know this is about sports, so I had to throw that sport in. So selecting a major in sports management or even a minor, one of the things that I think is important, if you think about all of the background things that happen in sports, and Keith mentioned a great bit of those, one of the things that people don't often think about until they see movies like Jerry Maguire, or they see the draft and they see the person that's not the family member, but they're on the phone, they're doing all of that talking. Sports management is $1 billion industry. And I know some folks who have wanted to break into the sports management industry 10, 20 years ago, but it was so hard because there was no like formal college training in the way that there is now. So I'm excited that there are about 400 undergraduate sports management programs across the country, where about 15 years ago when I went to college, it was just not that way. And at JCSU, we offer both a major and a minor in sports management, as well as the fully online sports management program. And we were the first HBCU in the country to do that. We love being first. We love doing things well, but that's been the most important part. If you're first, you're the pioneer. You're the one that teaches, the industry how to go. So we're excited that we did that. All of these stats are here. I'm not going to read you the slides because you're here, so I'm sure you are proficient in reading. But I will tell you, in this May, our sports management program was ranked number 17 in the 2020 best colleges for sports management in America. That's a huge list. And for us to be number 17 with our enrollment not being huge with like some of these schools, our enrollment is about 1,500 students. And so we're just proud to be Johnson C. Smith. We're proud to hold up the gold and blue. All right, so here are some career opportunities in sports management. You can be an athletic coach, an athletic director. So I used to be a cheerleading coach for a very long time, and it was one of my favorite jobs because I felt like I got to do a lot of those things that Keith talked about a little earlier. I got to do the people aspect. I got to do the conditioning. I got to do the advising, and just the time where students, I feel like that time where I was a coach, it gave me the time to sharpen a lot of other skills that I took to the profession. So I'm excited about that.
Hey, Taisha, just a quick note. I'm not sure if the slides are changing so that the students can see the majors. You mentioned some statistics. Would it be possible for you to click on one of those slides and see if we may be able to pull up some of those numbers that you were talking about?
Like this slide, can you see this?
We see your title slide. Yeah, we're not, the students indicated in chat that the slides aren't changing.
What about now? Can you see them now?
Well, we can see the title slide. We just can't see any of the other information. I can see on the left that you've got them all there. We just can't see them for the students to.
Okay. Well, how about, because I'm sure you can see this, right?
We're still on the title slide. So I'm not sure if it's, I don't have a Mac, so I can't speak to that.
Oh, man, I was giving you the best that I had.
Well, so students,
Okay.
those of you, for our participants that are listening, maybe the best thing to do right now would be for Taisha to share really some specifics about esports
Yeah.
and journalism, which is also a very valuable major, and just talk through that for just a few more minutes, and then I'll switch slides and we'll see if we can pull up some pictures.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so even though you probably can't see that, our sports management program, as well as esports, as well as journalism, those are some, if you major in English, sometimes people think you're going to be a professor. Sometimes folks think you're going to go to law school. But how much closer are you to the action with an English degree if you're the sports writer? Sports writing has changed over the years, but think about someone needs to write the copy. Someone writes all of that copy for the newscasters, for blogs, for newspapers. And if you're the kind of person that maybe you like to kind of work by yourself, maybe you're a little bit more introverted and you like the action but want to break off on your own a little bit, and you're a great writer, being a sports writer would be great because you're in the action without being amongst it all the time. So journalism is something that is great. It's great that journalism is a part of this because there are a few majors that you would think, oh, they wouldn't have anything to do with sports management or esports, but they do. They do. I'm sure you can't see the slide, but we do have a strong internship program within esports and sports management. So some of our students get placed with the Charlotte Hornets, the Washington Nationals. These are all internships. The Charlotte Checkers, the Charlotte Knights, the Cam Newton Foundation, YMCA, and First Tee of Charlotte. Students that have this esports background, they have continually gotten internships year after year. And a lot of students have been hired. I think we have like a 99% job rate in the field in esports. That is unheard of. Unheard of. So some of the alumni have been placed with the Atlanta Braves, the New York Mets, NASCAR, the Carolina Panthers, and the Big East Conference. Like those are some stellar opportunities and some great jobs. So I'm sorry y'all couldn't see my slides, but they're there. I don't know why.
No, Taisha, it's technology. And I think all of our students understand, because many of them are in virtual platforms at their school, that it doesn't always work as hard as we try. So it's all right. You have some great information, and students at the end, you'll have Taisha's contact information if you'd like to learn more, and she can share some of those specific slides with you as well. I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk about just a few more majors that you might consider. And I have to say I'm a little partial to some of these because I'm a foodie. So if you are someone that enjoys cooking, you enjoy being on the grill, maybe you're even taking a foods class at your high school, and you also play on the basketball team, culinary nutrition is something that you might want to do. You know, culinary nutrition or anything food related, maybe it's food and beverage entrepreneurship, and you have the desire to open some sort of a sports bar or sports style restaurant where you offer sporting events for your patrons. Maybe you really have a passion for you know, cooking personally, and you want to share that with other athletes. Here on this screen, you'll see some of the courses that you would take in college if you did decide to major in culinary nutrition: athletic performance cuisine, cooking for health and wellness, applied culinary nutrition. When you think about major teams, whether it's someone like the Dallas Cowboys that Keith mentioned earlier, or for those of you watching NFL football this weekend, the NFL team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers or New England Patriots, there are people that just are responsible for the athletic diets, what those players are actually eating day in and day out. Maybe you're passionate about swimming and you've been watching Michael Phelps all these years in the Olympics, studying something like culinary nutrition and your passion for swimming. You think about all the calories that someone like Michael Phelps actually consumes in preparation for an Olympic event. Someone assists him with that so that he can perform at optimal performance. Now, those career options, this is just a tiny smidgen of careers available. The term performance chef is actually someone who works for the performance of athletic teams and organizations. For example, we have a Johnson & Wales graduate who now is the performance chef for the University of Alabama football team, Roll Tide. They have hired our graduates in order to help their teams perform to their best of their ability. So that's what that is. An organization dietitian would be somebody, for example, that was hired by the Charlotte Hornets to actually do prescriptive meal planning for their athletes. Organizations to work for, again, we said lots of these professional teams, but you could be hired as a personal chef for a specific athlete. Maybe tennis is your thing and you've been watching some of the US Open and you follow Serena Williams. I can guarantee you that she has some sort of a chef that's actually assisting her with all of the meal planning so that she can perform to the best of her ability. Now, another area that people with a sports passion may not have thought much about is fashion merchandising and retailing. As you look at these pictures here and you think about the vast number of articles of clothing that are branded with Under Armour or Nike or Adidas, you think about every time you walk into a sports complex and you actually see all of that merchandise on the walls, on the setups. Someone sets all of that up. Sports merchandising is really big business. So when you think about some of the courses that these students take in school, retail executive decision making, that's a real thing. Tournament management and sales, merchandise mathematics. Someone is responsible for all of that inventory control. If you do, maybe you're a golfer and you watch the Masters, and you think about how important it is that everybody has that little logo of Augusta on their shirt or their hat. Someone is responsible for setting up all of those deals with organizations and making sure that the fashion is actually there on the premises for fans. So you might be hired by the PGA. I think that would be super cool. What a great career if you love golf. But another side to fashion merchandising and retailing is uniforms. So if, for example, I used to be a cheer coach and I think about the fact that every year we would have to buy new uniforms, all of those companies that actually manufacture and sell uniforms to all of our different athletic disciplines. That might be something that interests you as well. Again, I've got a variety of those different organizations that you could get hired by. I think Taisha made a very good point. It really is about the internship piece. So if you're passionate about a sport and you decide you're going to major in whether it's finance or merchandising or journalism, getting an internship in that job market, seeing if that's really something that you want to do. Hey, is this really giving you that vibe for your sport and your career, and seeing if it's a positive fit. I think as she mentioned that, it's really important for you to talk with the universities you're considering to see how they assist students in the internship process. Some students do get an internship where they actually get to work for the athletic department. Maybe you work for the basketball team at the university where you attend, and that's your internship. You look at these really large, and I'm using football as an example only because of the big business that I know that it is, and the vast number of people that stand on the sideline while the team is out there playing. Many of those positions are internship positions, but keep in mind that they're extremely competitive. My son actually, when he was in college, he thought about pursuing sport management, and he did an internship with the ticketing office at the university where he went to school. Very valuable learning experience. And one other major that you may not have thought about is media and communications. Now, maybe you really are you're a big fan of Fox Sports, or you watch ESPN and all those commentators religiously. Well, maybe combining your love for sport and media is a good major matchup for you. Here are just a few little courses that you would take: media industry, television studies, sound production, all the people that are behind the scenes when those Fox commentators are on. Takes a lot of people. We had the opportunity to watch the NFL Red Zone this weekend. I had never seen that broadcast before, and the amount of bounce back and forth between all the different games, I was thinking about all of the producers on the backside. So obviously those producers love sports, and they're working in a field of communications, and they get to watch all of these incredible athletic performances. Some of you may have seen The Last Dance, that docuseries that was on this summer. Well, someone produced the docuseries. Someone did all of the interviews and the writing to the journalism and English majors that Taisha was talking about. But at the end of the day, it was a group of media guys and gals who assembled that docuseries and made it as successful as it was. So you think about, again, combining your love for some sort of sport and media and communications as a major, and you can put those two passions together. Another option that you might not have thought about is podcasting. There are a lot of young people who are creating personas for themselves through podcasting. I know I have some podcasts that I like to listen to when I travel. So you could be a sports podcaster, whatever the sport is that you're passionate about, you pursue it, you create a broadcast series. So how do you study that in college? You go into college as a communications and a media major. Some organizations, again, that you could go to work for, whether it's a news organization or some sort of a Netflix, Amazon Prime, or some other kind of a startup communications company. Of course, all of the major sports do have broadcasters in their stadiums. They may have some local broadcasting that goes on, but again, see if you can't find an internship where you would be able to really see if this job is for you. Now, I know we've given you a lot of information, so it's going to be time for you to give us any of your questions. I know that we see some in the chat box, so let's see. Keith, have you been taking a look at those questions that maybe you can kind of help us field those a little bit? That would be really helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we've had some good questions come in, and one I'll just kind of throw it out there, and Mandy or Taisha, if either one of you, I think it would be a good one to field. Are most good sports management programs centered near cities where there are numerous sports teams like Charlotte?
That's a great question. So Taisha and I are both in Charlotte. Most of I can speak at Johnson & Wales. A lot of our students are doing internships with the Panthers organization or Bank of America Stadium, Spectrum Center. You know, again, are you going facilities like Keith talked about in the early part of his presentation? Are you going more athletic training where you need to be with a team? Are you more food service where you're going to be working in the facility? Are they all, I think the question was, are they located in big cities? I don't know that there are probably schools that do have sports management programs. Keith, you said you guys have one, and right now your main campus is in a smaller environment. So do you guys have students then do internships in larger environments?
Yeah, absolutely. For our students, I mean, obviously attending a smaller school that might not be around some of the big opportunities during the actual academic year, our students will be looking at their internships for those summer months and maybe during their senior year where they might be able to spend some of their academic time in that internship as well. So again, that comes down to what somebody's looking for. Not everybody's a big city person. They may want to work in the world of sports and they may want that small town and small campus feel that may be able to come. So it depends on the student, but.
One thing I was going to add, oh yeah, sorry. One thing I was going to add is that kind of to Keith's point, it's really important that the student thinks about what they want in a college. Okay, sorry, reading the question too. It's really about what the student wants. If the student really wants a big university feel, then that would be great to attend that sort of institution, as well as starting with your sports teams on campus. Because I've had a ton of students that thought that they liked one thing and then they tried it on campus where it wasn't like a huge leap in terms of an internship off campus, a lot of time. And they just said, I don't like that, but I would like to do this. And so I think that's a great part of this experience as well, internships as well, is because you get to learn really what you want to do. Maybe you don't want to do that thing in that way, but it's wonderful that you're able to experience some of those some of those same joys, some of those same questions on your college campus as well. And that builds your resume to be able to apply for some of these internships. Because I know some of the internships that I got in college were only for students that had like work study on campus already.
Yeah, and to your point, there are some other sessions related to work study and financial aid, so you might want to check that out on the CACRAO.org website and check out one of those as well. Do we have another question? I think we have just 2 or 3 more minutes.
Yeah, this next one's a good one. What might be some good high school classes that you could suggest to consider in learning more about some of these career options that we've been discussing this morning or this afternoon? Sorry, it's not a longer morning.
So I think we tried to mention some courses in college. So your question is a good one. What do you take in high school? Some of the larger high schools do offer classes like some athletic training kinds of courses. Some of our high schools in North Carolina offer a sports marketing course through CTE, which is under the business umbrella. You might look into that. You might also take accounting. You know, maybe you were watching Keith's part of this presentation and you thought, you know, I don't really know that I'm a numbers person, but that sounds kind of fun. Okay, well, take accounting, and guess what? If it's not fun, you need to go another route. So it's always good to eliminate courses too and say that's not for me, but maybe this is. Thinking about fashion merchandising, you might decide there is a course called fashion merchandising. There's also a marketing class that you can take at your high school. All of these are through the CTE program. Journalism is offered, or yearbook. Those are great classes to consider taking in high school or working for your school newspaper. You guys have any other ideas?
I'd like to just piggyback. I think a great place with a lot of the things that we've been talking about is to connect with your schools or your county's technology and career education department. That's where you're going to find a lot of these classes. And to piggyback on something else that Mandy said, it's important to try it out. If you take one of these classes and you realize that you really don't like it, then you've done some great work. Even though you might go through the class and maybe a semester, you have found out about a career that you know is not a good fit for you, and that can be invaluable. So although you might not like every class, if you're trying to look around, it can be very beneficial.
And I've put up this final slide because there may have been some things specific to one of these universities that you want to be sure you tune in to an informational session. Some universities have more than one. I know Johnson C. Smith University had 2 or 3 informational sessions about the university. So if there was something we said about sports management or our business program or the internships and you'd like to connect with us, please be sure on the CACRAO website that you register for that particular session so that we can share more. So I know our time is about out. Keith, is there anything else in the Q&A?
I think we do have time for at least one more question, and this I'll skip down to one of the last ones. And I think this is important. Can you pursue some of these majors if you were considering being an athlete at that school as well? Will there be enough time to mix in the love of sport with a career at the same time?
I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I loved cheering in college. I don't know why the sun is giving me a halo right now, but you know, I loved cheering in college. I loved finding out about the business of college cheerleading and all of those behind the scenes kind of things that I wasn't privy to before. And we cheered and practiced a lot. That 3 weeks or so when football season overlaps with basketball season, you really learn whether you love it or you want to go into a career of it. I promise.
And I think Taisha makes a great point. Being in college athletics, if you're actually a player, there is a big commitment. Now keep in mind that there are different levels of athletic commitment, whether you're on an intramural team or you're actually playing for your college or university. But I think coaches are very aware that you're a student athlete. And so your academics are really important and your coaches are going to be encouraging you to do that. So yes, I think it's very possible to be an athlete and pursue whatever career pathway it is that you dream about. Keith, anything to add on that one from you?
Yeah, again, the emphasis being on student athlete. That's, you know, when you're going to college, your focus is on your education and your career, and the athletics are a benefit that you get to partake in there. So, you know, even think about most people that do go on to professional sports, their careers are really short-lived. And, you know, and they also have to be thinking about what's beyond that. So, yeah.
Alrighty, thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate you joining in on this session. So when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey that we would love for you to fill out if you have a moment. Also, this was just one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at CACRAO.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recordings at CACRAO.org. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.